Hello, everybody. Welcome into GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Friday, January 24th. We have a big show for you, as always. Today, we're going to cover a lot of NFL. Of course, championship weekend is here. We're going to go over both of the games, both of these rematches that took place either once or twice during the seasons. These two games promise to be amazing, as well as the two big coaching hires that took place over the last 24 hours. The Jaguars' whole saga with Liam Cohen and Trent Baalke, and the Raiders bringing in Pete Carroll. And of course, we're going to cover a little bit of the NBA as well. The All-Star starters were announced. But before we get into any of that, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Friday, January 24th. But like I was saying, we are going to get into our first topic of the day, that of course being the conference championship games. This is part 4 of what is one of the best playoff rivalries in the history of football right now. Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Of course, Josh Allen has not taken a game in the playoffs, but in the regular season, the Bills have been very, very consistently good against this Chiefs team. That includes handing them their only real loss of the season. Of course, when Josh Allen had that huge run to ice the game, went in for the touchdown on 4th down, and it handed them, like I said, their first real loss, and really their only real loss of the season. Of course, the other loss that they suffered was at the hands of the Broncos in Week 18 when they were not playing any of their starters, second and third stringers. This is a rivalry in the playoffs that is probably the biggest game in the history of Josh Allen's career, right? Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are going for history of themselves. They're going for a three-peat. This one is going to be a game for the ages. Right now, the Chiefs at home favored by 2 points, which means this is a pick'em game at a neutral site. That is how close people are expecting this game to be. A couple key injuries on the Bills' side of the ball for the defense. Taylor Rapp is not going to be playing in this game. You're going to have a rookie out there to take those key defensive snaps against a really good Chiefs team that has started to unlock it as they get more weapons offensively. This is a Chiefs team that has really struggled to put points up on the board.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't need shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing. Sold out shows are 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown. Get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Welcome back to GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I am your host, January 24th. If you were just tuning in, we just finished for this matchup, this rivalry that has continued to blossom under all time. This is going to be a great weekend. There is one more game that we have to preview. This one between the NFC, a divisional matchup, an NFC East battle, the Super Bowl for the first time since 19. Either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports. One at home, and the Eagles taking the one at home as well. Both of these teams have a little bit of course, a lot of history against each other as they are in the same division. This is an interesting matchup because the command game, right? They do this through Saquon Barkley. They do this through Jalen Hurts. They do it through 8 offense is to say that it is the best in football. This is one where Jaden Daniels has turned on his magic. That happened in the second one of these matchups. We've seen Terry McLaurin the first time that they played each other, and then the second time, Terry McLaurin had a huge day. Obviously, in that second game, quite the same since, although a lot of that isn't to blame on him. Some of it is to blame on Jalen Hurts. Some of it is to blame on the offensive line, on Saquon Barkley and the pass protection, a little in all of the NFL. That's what they need to focus on. That's what the Eagles need to do because Saquon Barkley is a special, special back, and seeing what Jameer turning the ball over 5 times. This is where Saquon Barkley and the Eagles can feast. Going up against, like I said, that third worst run defense in the entire NFL, they're going to run all over the Commanders. The question is, have that kind of moment like he did early on in that second game, or really driving in that first game, where they made it a little bit close at the end. A bad fourth down play ended up taking them side, because that Commanders defense is really bad against the run. That is where the Eagles are going to tee off against them. They're going to have a huge day with Saquon Barkley. So we're looking at all of the Saquon Barkley overs, every single one of them. If you are a betting person, as far as scoring goes, that Eagles defense is amazing. It's one of the best, if not the best. Going to be close, right? Every single division game is always a close one, at least most of the time, especially this deep in the playoffs when you have two really good teams. I am worried the Eagles have a chance to blow them out. Eagles favored by 6 points. Of love for the Washington Commanders, and I agree with the love. They deserve a lot of credit. They deserve their flowers. They deserve their props, right? But they aren't going to win this game. They match up horribly against this team, if I'm being honest. And a completely healthy Eagles team is going to completely ruin this Commanders team. The reason why you see people bringing up these stats and the reason why they were able to win that second game is because Jalen Hurts wasn't there. They were dealing with Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee in that game where they ended up winning. That's not something that's going to happen again. Fingers crossed if you are praying for good football, right? Can he find those windows? Can he hit his guys? Can he hit his receivers in the hands? Can he be that accurate passer that we know he has the ability to be? This is going to be a game where I think they're either going to commit to the run or they're going to get killed. And then when the Commanders commit to the run, then they're going to be in trouble, right? Because that's when you have one-on-ones with A.J. Brown. That's when you have one-on-ones with a guy like Devonta Smith. That's when you have one-on
is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search
Wild recently. We have brand new hires in two spots. We're going to start off with the more intriguing one that took twists and turns, a hairpin turn. One said no, turned around, and then changed his mind after some more firings were taken care of. We're going to talk about Liam Cohen and the Jag saga, what happened over there. But before we get into GSMCpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to add, are ready to make Liam Cohen their next head coach, right? The Jags have an offer. They're doing that second interview. He leaves and he says, actually, Jags, I passed up by some really strong coaching candidates in the last couple of cycles when they were looking for guys. Doug Peterson was kind of the last one in the bottom of the barrel, and of course in this coaching cycle they were passed up pretty much immediately by a guy like Ben Johnson that I think really could have helped them develop Trevor Lawrence. Instead, they get their second best guy, the guy that I think is it was really good for them to get, and the guy that I think they would have just completely they've been in a really bad spot. Be able to use a guy like Travis Etienne, who was used very poorly last season, get him in that Lightning Thunder system with Tank Bigsby. I love this hire. Liam Cohen, I think, is kind of like a we have Ben Johnson at home kind of guy, right? He's not going to be that top tier A+ kind of guy, but he is going to do everything you need him to do at highest coordinator ever given a contract. It was one of the biggest contracts ever after he had turned down the Jags. The Jags then get rid of their GM, Trent Baalke, after 4 years with the organization, drafting Trevor Lawrence, scaring away head coaches, not seeing the vision. They finally learn, hey, we need some cohesion here. Trent Baalke shouldn't have been there anyway. He shouldn't have survived after Doug Peterson got fired. Instead, they were going to fell as far as coaching goes. This felt more like a college move, when you have coaches say, I'm not leaving this program. They turn around, they leave the program. It was wild. He was going to get paid a lot of money to be the OC there, and instead, he gets paid a lot of money to be the head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, I give this move an A+. I really love this. I think he was the second best coaching of opportunity out there for anyone in the league, and the Jags are able to get him in what I think was the second best coaching spot. But let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. We're going to take Pete Carroll has come out of retirement, right? He's still teaching his class, co-teaching his class at USC. He also now becomes the coach of the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders